a bar of soap hidden under the bedsheet to prevent cramps, half a lemon to soften elbows, or a wooden spoon placed across the rim of a pot to prevent boiling water from overflowing. These seemingly strange tips are actually money-saving secrets from our grandparents back when modern supermarkets were still a luxury. Today, let's explore 35 legendary tips that have helped our grandparents save thousands of dollars over the decades. Multi-purpose white vinegar. In the 1950s, a gallon of white vinegar cost only about 15 to 20 cents at local general stores. Instead of spending nearly $2 on 4 different specialized cleaning chemicals for windows or clothes, our grandmothers only needed a single bottle of vinegar to save up to 90% on home cleaning costs. The natural acetic acid in vinegar acts as a powerful solvent that helps clean stubborn stains on glass while effectively removing odors from fabrics. On hot, sunny days, Grandma even used it to soothe sunburned skin. Vinegar also helps clean scale buildup inside coffee makers, extending the life of expensive household appliances. The peace of mind from using something natural, proven over generations, always brings a strange warmth and trust to every family member. Potato for rust removal. Rusty kitchen knives or tools are often thrown away by us to buy new ones, costing from $1 to $3. But for Grandma, half a potato was enough. The natural oxalic acid in potatoes chemically reacts with the rust, helping to soften and remove it gently when combined with a bit of baking soda or salt. You just need to cut the potato in half, dip the cut side into the cleanser, and scrub hard on the rusted surface to see the shiny metal reappear. At a cost of only about 4 cents per potato, grandparents saved many precious tools and kept them sharp and clean. This method is not only cheap, but also completely natural, harmless to hands, and leaves no toxins on cooking utensils. Wooden spoon on a boiling pot. A common problem that gives us headaches is bubbles rising and overflowing from the pot, creating a mess on the stove. But there is a simple secret. Placing an old wooden spoon across the rim of the pot can solve this problem. Scientifically, wood is an excellent insulator and has a hydrophobic surface. When steam-filled bubbles touch the drier and cooler wooden surface, the steam condenses back into water and the surface tension of the bubbles is broken, causing them to burst before they can overflow. This little tip not only frees up Grandma's hands to prepare other dishes, but also keeps the stove sparkling like new. Cinnamon to repel ants. Since the 1950s, instead of spending about $1.50 on each can of insect spray filled with toxic chemicals, grandparents just used a bit of cinnamon powder sprinkled at the ant entry points. Ants absolutely hate the strong smell of cinnamon's essential oils and will quickly leave your house without needing harsh extermination methods. At a cost of only about 5 cents per use, this method saves money and ensures the safety of the whole family and pets. The aroma of cinnamon also brings a pleasant atmosphere to the kitchen instead of the pungent smell of cleaning chemicals. If you are also having trouble with these uninvited guests, try cinnamon powder right away and share your experience. Ice cubes to restore carpets. Ugly dents left by chair legs or heavy furniture on expensive carpets often cost modern families dozens of dollars to hire professionals for a refresh. In the 1960s, when carpets were popular, grandparents had a completely free tip from the fridge that saved dozens of dollars in carpet maintenance costs each year. Just place ice cubes directly on the dents and let them melt naturally. The moisture will slowly penetrate deep into the fibers. As the water soaks in, the carpet fibers will expand, and we just need to use our hands or a brush to gently fluff the fibers so the carpet returns to its original shape. If you are a familiar face who has accompanied me through previous videos, please comment "I'm back" below. It's great to see old faces again on this journey back to memories. Cold milk for sunburn. The 1950s and 60s were the golden age of travel and beach trips. Sunburn was a familiar story for every family back then, because at that time, sunscreen was not cheap, costing from 50 cents to $1 per tube. However, instead of using sunscreen, families used a bowl of cold milk soaked into a soft cloth to apply to the skin. The proteins in cold milk create a thin protective film, helping to moisturize and immediately soothe the burning sensation. At a cost of only about 5 cents, this method provides incredible skin recovery and is very safe for children. The cool feeling of milk soaking deep into the skin brings wonderful relief after stressful hours under the sun. If you like these saving tips and nostalgia, hit hype and subscribe to the channel. You can save thousands of dollars more each year thanks to smart tips like these. Cold tea bags for tired eyes. In addition to using cold spoons to reduce eye swelling, housewives of the last century also knew how to use used tea bags applied to the eyes to help reduce irritation, dark circles, and bring an alert look to the face. The tannins and caffeine left in the tea leaves have a very effective skin tightening and puffiness reducing effect after just 10 minutes of relaxation. Instead of spending money on expensive eye masks, this free secret helps you make the most of ingredients and protect the family's wallet. Try cooling a few tea bags in the fridge to always be ready for a cheap but high-quality home spa treatment. The cool feeling and gentle tea scent refresh the spirit after stressful working hours. Mayonnaise to erase crayon marks. In the 1950s, mayonnaise became a default condiment in the kitchens of American grandmothers, but beyond its cooking function, it was also a secret for mothers to erase crayon marks that mischievous kids drew on the walls. At that time, there was no need to spend $5 to $10 to repaint the room. Just use a spoonful of mayonnaise worth about 2 cents to wipe away all traces without damaging the expensive paint. The oils in mayonnaise can dissolve the wax in the crayons, making it easy to wipe clean with a damp cloth after a few minutes. This method is extremely safe because it doesn't use harsh chemical solvents, protecting the health of small children and preserving the aesthetics of the home. Using a salad ingredient to clean walls may seem strange, but brings surprising and amazing results. Aluminum foil to sharpen scissors. A piece of used aluminum foil from food packaging is often thrown away by us without knowing it can sharpen scissor blades quickly. Instead of spending 50 cents for manual sharpening at a shop, you just need to fold the aluminum foil several times and cut into it repeatedly with the scissors to feel the sharpness return. The friction generated during the cutting process helps remove small scratches and flattens the blades, helping you cut fabric or paper more smoothly. This tip is extremely useful and saves time as well as money for household manual tasks. You will be surprised to see old scissors working as well as new after just a few simple steps. Keep clean scraps of aluminum foil to always be ready to sharpen your tools at any time. Apples to soften brown sugar. Brown sugar became popular in American home kitchens in the 1930s and was most closely tied to our grandparents' cooking memories in the 1950s to 1960s. At that time, the price was only about 10 to 12 cents per pound. Because there were no modern preservation methods, brown sugar often became as hard as a rock. However, clever poor families came up with the tip of using a small apple slice placed inside the sugar jar overnight. The natural moisture released from the apple slice will permeate the sugar crystals, making them soft again and easy to use for baking or cooking. This method is both simple and effective, helping save on shopping costs and demonstrating the zero-waste spirit of the family. Bread to keep cookies soft. In the 1950s, a piece of old white bread was worth only about 15 cents a loaf, but had the ability to protect an entire 50-cent box of cookies from becoming dry, hard, and spoiled. When placing a slice of bread inside the cookie container, the moisture from the bread will slowly transfer to the cookies, keeping them soft and delicious for many days. This natural moisture exchange mechanism helps avoid wasting food, a core value that grandparents always wanted to pass on to their children. Instead of having to throw away cookies that have become as hard as rocks, we can enjoy them fully, thanks to this smart little tip. Cherish every scrap of leftover bread because they can work wonders for other dishes in your kitchen. Cold spoons for puffy eyes. Few people know that 2 stainless steel spoons available in the kitchen cabinet are sometimes the best beauty tool to help you regain alertness after a night of poor sleep. Instead of spending money on high-end eye creams costing dollars, just leave the spoons in the freezer and lightly press them onto the puffy area the next morning. The cold from the metal constricts the blood vessels under the skin, helping to reduce swelling and quickly banish the look of fatigue without costing a penny. This method is extremely simple. Anyone can do it right at home with immediate results. You will feel incredibly refreshed and confident when looking in the mirror and seeing your eyes become more radiant thanks to this secret. This is a gift of simple wisdom that helps us save time and money in busy modern life. Boiled orange peels to scent the house. Instead of spending about 60 cents on scented candles or the newly launched Glade brand room sprays or chemical-filled scented candles, Grandma used discarded orange peels to scent the home. Boiling orange peels with a bit of cinnamon and vanilla not only helps deodorize food smells in the kitchen, but also creates a warm space for $0. Natural essential oils from fruit peels, when meeting high temperatures, release a gentle fragrance that refreshes the spirit and purifies the air safely. This is a perfect alternative to artificial fragrance chemicals that can irritate sensitive people in the family. You can also experiment with many other types of fruit peels like lemon or grapefruit to find a unique signature scent for your home. Lemon and baking soda for softening elbows. When lotions weren't common, rough and darkened skin on the elbows was a frequent occurrence. The inexpensive secret women of the last century used to handle this problem was usually half a squeezed lemon and a bit of baking soda. The natural acid in the lemon acts as a safe bleaching agent, while the baking soda helps gently exfoliate when you use the lemon half to scrub. At a cost of just a few cents, this method provides smoother and brighter skin after just a few regular applications at home. This is proof that beauty doesn't necessarily have to be expensive if we know how to use gifts from nature. Old toothbrushes for cleaning. In the 50s to 70s, and even later, worn-out toothbrushes were never wastefully thrown away by grandparents. They would combine old brushes with baking soda and vinegar to blast away every stubborn stain. The compact size and flexible bristles allow it to reach into tile grout, cabinet corners, or intricate decorative patterns that a rag cannot touch. The mixture of baking soda and vinegar creates a bubbling reaction that helps soften long-standing buildup, making cleaning lighter and more effective than ever. Your grandmother would save 80 cents on specialized brushes and strong bleaches, helping save the cost of buying new monthly cleaning tools for the family. From today, remember to keep your old toothbrushes because they are powerful assistants in daily cleaning tasks. Citrus peels to repel cats. If you often face trouble with neighboring cats digging and going to the bathroom in your expensive flower beds, try the folk tip of the grandmothers of the past. Instead of buying specialized pet repellent powders, just scatter orange or lemon peels around the garden. Cats are very sensitive and extremely afraid of the smell of essential oils from citrus peels, so they won't dare come near areas with this fragrance. This is a gentle, harmless, and completely natural way to resolve conflicts between humans and pets. Toothpaste to blur glass scratches. From the 1950s to 1960s, a tube of regular toothpaste cost 25 cents. But back then, besides personal hygiene, toothpaste was also an extremely effective glass polishing tool. If a watch face or mirror accidentally gets lightly scratched, grandparents would apply a bit of toothpaste and rub gently with a soft cloth. This saved $2 to $5 on repairs at a jeweler. The extremely mild abrasives in toothpaste act as a sophisticated polishing powder, helping to smooth the glass surface and erase small scratches. You just need to patiently perform a circular motion and wipe clean to see the glass become as clear as when first bought. Try checking the glass items in your home and apply this simple yet powerful secret right away. Cabbage leaves for joint pain. Since ancient times, cabbage has always been a familiar cooking ingredient. In the 40s and 50s in rural areas, cabbage cost only a few cents per head. And few know that just heating cabbage leaves and wrapping them around a painful knee joint can quickly reduce inflammation. The natural anti-inflammatory properties of compounds in cabbage can soothe long-term bone and joint aches. Compared to using expensive medicated patches or chemical painkillers of that time, this method is completely benign and easy to perform at home. Applying warm cabbage leaves to the painful area brings a pleasant feeling and helps improve mobility for the elderly naturally. Brushing teeth with baking soda. In the 1940s, before expensive teeth whitening products were born, a 10-cent box of baking soda was the secret for grandparents to have bright white oral hygiene. Just sprinkle a bit of baking soda powder on a wet toothbrush and brush gently. Yellow stains from tea or coffee will be removed naturally. The alkalinity and mild abrasiveness of this powder help clean plaque without needing harsh bleaching chemicals that harm tooth enamel. This is an extremely cheap beauty method that brings sustainable results, saving dollars in cosmetic dental care costs. However, we should not overdo it daily to protect our precious tooth enamel. Try applying it once a week to feel fresh breath and bright white teeth in the old-fashioned way. Eggshells for the garden. Did you know that eggshells are a completely free source of calcium, helping plants grow healthy and strong, while their sharp edges help repel destructive snails? During the Great Depression of the 1930s to 1940s, instead of spending $2 to $3 per season on fertilizers and chemical pesticides, using eggshells helped families save a significant amount of money. Keep your eggshells after every breakfast because they are a precious gift for the soil and plants in your home. Soap for cramps. A very interesting folk tip from the 70s that grandparents often used for a good night's sleep was placing a bar of soap under the bedsheet. Using leftover soap scraps costs almost nothing and helps prevent nighttime leg cramps without the need for muscle relaxants. Many believe that the ions or scent from the soap have a positive impact on the nervous system, helping muscles relax completely during sleep. Even if it's just a placebo effect, absolute trust in ancestral experience has helped countless people overcome the fear of cramps. This solution not only saves on medical costs, but also brings peace of mind and comfort in old age. Try applying this little tip tonight and share your results with us in the comments below. Black pepper to stop bleeding. If you accidentally cut your finger with a knife or scissors, there is a way to stop the bleeding faster than any bandage we usually use. Black pepper not only has natural antiseptic properties, but also helps stimulate blood vessels to constrict, creating conditions for blood to clot faster at the wound. Sprinkling a bit of pungent pepper on a cut might sound scary, but it actually brings surprising results and allows you to continue your cooking work immediately. Every time you look at the pepper jar on the kitchen shelf, remember, it doesn't just make food taste better. It's also a silent first responder for your hands. Coffee grounds for deodorizing. Did you know that instead of spending about 40 cents on chemical-filled fridge deodorizers, placing a bowl of dry coffee grounds inside provides the same effect with a pleasant scent? The porous structure of coffee grounds is excellent at absorbing odor molecules, from food smells in the fridge to the musty odor in closets left closed for a long time. In particular, if your hands smell like garlic or fish after cooking, just rub some coffee grounds on them and rinse. The odor will disappear completely. So, from now on, don't rush to throw away your coffee grounds. Dry them and keep them in glass jars to make your home smell as cozy as a coffee shop. Baking soda for heartburn. Baking soda doesn't just whiten teeth. It also helped our grandparents handle heartburn after meals before modern medicine became common in daily life. This nearly zero-cost solution could completely replace antacid medications that cost about 30 cents at the time, while still offering the same effectiveness. The alkalinity of baking soda quickly neutralizes stomach acid, soothing the burning sensation and bringing relief to the user. This is one of the most popular natural remedies passed down from generation to generation due to its safety and high efficacy. Having a box of baking soda at home is like having a versatile family medicine cabinet for any emergency. Onion for bee stings. For grandparents in rural America during the 1940s, a fresh onion slice cut directly from the kitchen, worth less than a cent, was sometimes more effective than any expensive ointment. When stung by a bee or insect, grandparents would press the onion slice firmly against the wound to draw out the venom and quickly reduce pain. The enzymes in onions have the ability to break down the inflammation-causing proteins in the venom, preventing the wound from swelling and helping it heal faster. Instead of spending 40 to 50 cents at the pharmacy for topical products back then, using cooking ingredients saved the family a significant amount of money. The cool and soothing sensation of an onion slice on the skin is truly an unforgettable childhood experience from playing in the garden. Old newspaper and vinegar. In the 60s, when newspapers were the main source of news and always available in every home, grandparents turned them into invaluable cleaning tools instead of throwing them in the trash. Combining free old newspapers with a bit of vinegar helps clean glass until it sparkles without costing a dime. The fibrous structure of the newspaper, along with the special ink composition, creates a perfect shine for mirrors and windows that no modern cloth can match. Instead of spending about 25 cents on each roll of paper towels, which often leave annoying lint, you just need to crumple up an old newspaper, lightly spray a diluted vinegar mixture, and wipe in a circular motion to see the miracle happen before your eyes. This method completely removes annoying streaks, providing absolute transparency to window panes. Try this tip to feel the difference, and don't forget to share your memories of helping your grandmother clean the house in the comments below. Cornstarch for chafing and friction. In the 60s, when specialized baby powders cost about 50 cents, Mayonnaise cornstarch was the savior for all sensitive skin of children and adults. A 15-cent box of cornstarch could last for a whole month, helping to keep friction-prone areas like armpits or thighs dry and reducing irritation. Cornstarch has an excellent ability to absorb sweat and creates a smooth surface, helping to prevent redness and soreness caused by friction during movement. This is a completely natural solution, containing no synthetic fragrances or preservatives often found in modern products. So, always keep a box of cornstarch in the cabinet because it is a cheap but extremely powerful skincare secret. Rice to absorb. Moisture from electronics. Few know that a bowl of dry rice worth only about 5 cents is sometimes the life-saving solution for watches or electronic devices dropped in water. Instead of spending dollars on repairs at a shop, bury the wet item in a jar of rice and wait patiently for 24 hours. Rice has an extremely strong moisture-absorbing ability, helping to draw out tiny water droplets sticking deep inside the delicate crevices of the device. This method is particularly effective for small precious items, helping to prevent short circuits or oxidation of internal components. Share this tip with friends because you never know when a bowl of rice might save their expensive phone one day. Chalk to preserve silver. In the silver drawers of families in 1970, you would frequently encounter a few pieces of blackboard chalk lying quietly beside the spoons and forks. At a cost of only 1 cent, a tiny piece of chalk has the important task of protecting wedding silver sets worth hundreds of dollars from tarnishing due to humidity in the air. The mechanism of chalk is simple, yet scientific. Its excellent moisture absorption prevents the oxidation process that turns metal black over time. Instead of buying specialized moisture-proof bags or expensive polishing creams, grandparents just place chalk in the drawer to keep utensils sparkling like new. This helped families save a significant amount of money and effort in preserving precious belongings over many years. Olive oil for door hinges. In the 40s and 50s, buying a can of WD-40 machine oil cost about $1.25. But just a drop of cooking oil or olive oil taken directly from the kitchen, worth less than 1 cent, was enough to solve squeaky doors. The slipperiness of vegetable oil lubricates the metal joints, helping door hinges operate smoothly again without leaving a strong chemical smell in the house. This little tip also applies to stuck old tools or wooden drawer tracks that often get sticky on high humidity days. Today, many families feel very satisfied finding a cheap but effective solution right at their fingertips without needing to go far. Also, any type of cooking oil can be used for door hinges. I still do this all the time. Flour for treating cuts on the hands. Sharp cuts from paper edges are small, but often cause annoying burning pain and make us lose focus while working. A pinch of flour taken from the food jar in the kitchen can help seal this wound, helping to stop bleeding and creating a smooth protective film for the skin. Instead of having to stop to find a bandage or apply ointment, this little tip allows you to continue your work easily and comfortably. This solution costs almost nothing and is always available in every home, helping to reduce dependence on fast-moving consumer goods. However, this tip should only be applied to very small and clean cuts. After the blood has stopped flowing, you should wash the wound with clean water to prevent flour from sticking to the skin for too long. Carrot leaves for soup seasoning. During the post-war belt-tightening period, our grandmothers often finely chopped the green part of carrots to add to broth or soup, helping the dish stay delicious without spending extra market money. Carrot leaves not only provide a unique flavor, but also contain many nutrients and vitamins beneficial for the family's health. Taking advantage of this part, which is usually thrown away, helps save on monthly food costs. The faint aroma of carrot leaves in a hot bowl of soup always brings back memories of simple family meals filled with love. Try keeping these green leaves next time you buy carrots to feel the sophistication in Grandma's cooking style. In the 1950s, when encountering minor thermal burns while cooking, a popular tip mothers used was applying a bit of cold butter to the skin. Although today we have many specialized gels, at that time, an avocado worth 2 cents was the immediate solution to soothe the heat and reduce the burning sensation. The coolness from the avocado helps the skin feel relieved immediately, preventing initial blistering before modern medical intervention is needed if necessary. Understanding food ingredients was not limited to cooking, but extended to home medical care for the previous generation. However, we should note that this is only a tip for very light burns, and medical help should be sought if the wound is serious. Cold water for new stains. This is one of the completely free tips that has immense property protection value that Grandma always taught her grandchildren. When juice or food just spills onto a silk dress worth $15, use cold water to handle it immediately instead of using hot water or strong bleach. Science has proven that hot water will coagulate the proteins in the stain, making them stick permanently to the fibers and ruining the garment. Meanwhile, cold water helps dissolve the stain and prevents it from soaking deep, making subsequent washing much easier and more effective. This secret has saved countless sets of expensive clothes and tablecloths for families across generations. Honey for coughs and sore throats. In the 1930s to 1950s, a jar of honey costing about 20 cents was already considered a natural miracle drug to banish persistent coughs and soothe a sore throat. A spoonful of honey could provide an effect equivalent to cough syrups costing 75 cents at the pharmacy without causing side effects. When mixing honey with warm water or tea, it coats the throat lining, helping to reduce irritation and support the body's natural healing process. This is a traditional remedy trusted for centuries, thanks to its strong antibacterial properties and delicious, easy-to-drink flavor. Today, families with elderly members still keep a jar of pure honey in the kitchen to protect the health of the whole family in the most economical and safest way. Lemon in the microwave. From the 1950s to the 1970s, before there was a wide variety of cleaning solutions like today, housewives knew how to keep their kitchen spotless using very familiar items. After days of reheating food, microwaves often get covered in hardened grease and unpleasant odors. Instead of using harsh chemicals that could leave unhealthy residues, moms just needed a fresh lemon from the kitchen basket. Cut the lemon in half, drop it into a bowl of water, and microwave it for about 5 minutes. The natural cleaning power of citric acid causes even the most stubborn stains to loosen, making them easy to wipe away with a soft cloth. No hard scrubbing needed, no chemical smells to worry about, and the microwave ends up smelling fresh and light. That is the wisdom of housewives who knew how to use the simplest things to effectively protect their family's health. Vinegar for descaling. A common mistake people make today when a kettle or shower head starts getting covered in dull white scale is trying to use sharp objects to scrape it off. But this action accidentally scratches the surface of expensive equipment. Instead, a bottle of white vinegar is much more effective and safer. To clean a kettle, simply pour a mixture of vinegar and water at a 1-to-1 ratio. Bring it to a boil. Then pour or soak the solution onto the scaled area, letting it sit for 10 to 30 minutes, depending on the severity. After that, scrub gently and rinse with clean water to completely remove lime scale and minerals. For shower heads, wrap them in a plastic bag filled with vinegar and leave it overnight to fully clear the water jets. Stubborn lime scale will disappear completely, making the equipment shine like new without spending a penny on a plumber. Baking soda for burnt food stains. In the 1950s, baking soda became an essential item in every American household, costing about 20 to 25 cents for a 1-pound box. It was used both for cooking and cleaning the house due to its versatility and low cost. A moment of neglect while cooking can leave the bottom of a pot burnt black with layers of food stuck on, making it very difficult to clean. Using a steel wool pad to scrub hard often damages the surface of the pot, especially with non-stick or ceramic types. At that time, take a cup of water, about 250 milliliters, and a tablespoon of baking soda. Put it in the pot, bring it to a quick boil, and leave it overnight. The next morning, the stubborn burnt patches soften and easily peel off, leaving the pot sparkling clean without any effort. This secret saves money on expensive detergents and extends the life of the pot, demonstrating folk wisdom. Use the right ingredients in the right ratio to achieve optimal results. Gentle and smart. Use tea bags to wash greasy dishes. In the past, families had a very strange habit. After finishing their tea, people would keep the tea bags and never throw them away. It wasn't about being stingy, but because that tiny thing could be used for another task in the kitchen. When dishes were covered in grease, instead of pouring more dish soap, they just dropped a used tea bag into a basin of hot water. The natural tannins in the tea would start to work, gently separating the grease layer from the surface of the dishes without the need for heavy scrubbing. As a result, washing became easier, hands were protected, and there was no worry about chemical residue sticking to the eating utensils. This seemingly simple method not only showed the clever thriftiness of poor families in the past, but also a clean, safe, and environmentally friendly lifestyle. If you've ever seen your grandmother apply one of these tips, hit hype right below the video to help spread these simple but valuable secrets left by previous generations. Potatoes against rust. Familiar knives in the kitchen over time often develop tiny rust spots that many people regret. Nowadays, many choose to scrub hard with metal pads or rush to buy new knives. But in the past, it was different. A raw potato could help you solve this problem. In the 1950s, potatoes were a common ingredient in American family meals, used in mashed potatoes, baked potatoes, potato salad, and French fries, costing about 10 to 15 cents per pound. Besides cooking, it was also used to prevent rust on metal materials. The method is simple. Cut the potato in half and gently rub it over the rust spots on the knife blade. Thanks to the natural acid in the potato, the brown stains gradually fade away without damaging the steel surface. Just let it sit for a while and then rinse it with water. The blade will be brighter and cleaner as if revived. That little tip not only helps save money, but also shows how we cherish every item in the house. Toothpaste for scratches on glasses. Tiny scratches on a wooden table or on eyeglass lenses can sometimes be annoying every time we see them, but instead of spending money on specialized polishing kits, housewives in the 1950s always chose a simpler way. That was using a familiar tube of white toothpaste that only cost a few dozen cents. Dab a small amount on a soft cloth, then patiently rub gently in circles over the scratch. Thanks to the very mild abrasives in the toothpaste, the scratches gradually fade and the surface becomes brighter and more even in color. After just a few minutes, the familiar item looks decent again without the need for fancy machinery or chemicals. This method leaves no trace other than a shine, showing that even the cheapest items can bring professional results if we know how to use them. Dish soap for grease stains on fabric. In the past, dish soap wasn't just for washing dishes. It was used to keep everything around neat and clean. Whenever clothes got grease on them, mothers would naturally reach for the bottle of dish soap as if it were obvious. Instead of putting the clothes straight into the washing machine, they would put a few drops of dish soap on the stain and use their hands to rub it gently so the solution could soak deep into the fabric fibers. No rush, no force, just enough to separate the grease before washing. After that, the clothes were washed as usual. When hung up to dry, the grease stain was gone, leaving only the familiar scent and that special sense of tidiness from the kitchens of the past. This tip helps you remove grease stains completely without having to spend money on expensive spot removers or dry cleaning services. Grandma's intelligence lay in knowing how to apply the right tool for the right purpose to bring the highest efficiency, and mothers would feel extremely satisfied seeing a shirt saved in just a few minutes. Using a fork to hang pictures. Before the 20th century, family paintings and photos were often hung on walls using string, nails, or homemade hooks. But from the 1950s to 1960s, using a fork to hang pictures became a common household practice, especially as the home decoration movement grew after World War II. Using a fork to hang pictures showed the absolute precision families use when arranging memories on their walls. To hang an average picture of 16 to 24 inches by 20 to 28 inches, they used a long fork of 5 to 6 inches, 12 to 15 centimeters, as a guide. Slide the fork over the nail on the wall, prongs facing up to form a cradle, helping the hanging wire fall into the right position on the very first try, avoiding the need to drill over and over. Thanks to this tip, the picture always hangs perfectly straight without causing any extra scratches or redundant holes on the wall. This small but smart hack saves 5 to 10 minutes each time you hang a picture and prevents wall damage. Shaving cream to clean the oven. In the past, when there weren't enough specialized cleaning bottles, burnt food stains stuck to the oven glass door were always a nightmare for homemakers. Modern chemicals have a strong, pungent smell and affect the family's health, and few would expect that something originally used only for shaving could be extremely effective at cleaning grease. Just spray a thick layer of foam on the stain, let it sit for a few minutes for the foam to penetrate and soften the stubborn patches. Then, wipe gently with a damp cloth and the cloudy glass quickly becomes crystal clear again. Shaving cream was a popular consumer item with an estimated price of only about 60 cents to nearly $1 in the 1970s to 1980s. Even today, this seemingly simple tip still proves one thing: expensive products or flashy advertisements aren't always the best choice. You will no longer have to endure unpleasant odors or worry about chemicals getting into your food during the next bake. Baking soda in the drain. Gurgling drains and unpleasant odors used to be a nightmare for every housewife trying to keep the house clean. Instead of pouring highly toxic drain cleaners that can corrode pipes and harm health, mid-20th century families used baking soda and white vinegar. The formula is incredibly simple, but brings immediate results. Pour about 3 tablespoons of baking soda into the drain. Add enough white vinegar to create fizzing. Wait a few minutes, then flush with hot water to wash away all buildup and eliminate foul odors. This method helps protect the pipes over time without needing expensive plumbing services or dangerous chemicals. Your kitchen will always be airy and clean, just like the strict but sophisticated standards we pursue. Citric acid helps prevent clothes from fading. Quite a few people are surprised to see that some of their grandparents' old bed sheets haven't faded or dulled even after many years of use. The secret of housewives back then didn't lie in expensive bleach or ultra-white laundry detergent, but in a secret ingredient few of us know. That is citric acid, what families commonly called lemon acid. Just put a small spoonful of citric acid into the detergent compartment of the machine. After each wash, the clothes gradually regain their pure white color without a harsh smell and without eroding the fabric fibers. Interestingly, the inside of the washing machine is also cleaned, making it run smoother without needing specialized solutions. Citric acid began appearing in American households in the 1920s to 1930s. The price then was only a few cents per ounce. Today, this method has almost disappeared, replaced by expensive laundry detergents and cleaning solutions full of chemicals. Hairspray to remove ink stains. An accidental ink stain on a favorite blouse or tablecloth can make you feel very worried and regretful. The biggest mistake is trying to scrub the ink stain hard with water. This only makes the ink spread and soak deeper into each fiber. Instead, grandmothers and mothers in the past would use a bottle of hairspray they normally used to hold their hair in place every day. In the 1960s, a bottle of hairspray usually cost about 50 to 75 cents. You just need to spray the hairspray directly on the stain, wait a few seconds, then use a clean, dry cloth to blot gently until the ink stain disappears completely. The alcohol content in the hairspray will quickly dissolve the stubborn ink particles before they can set firmly into the fabric surface. Your shirt will be saved in the nick of time as if the stain never existed, helping you feel more confident with a neat appearance. Milk to remove fruit stains. In the past, berry or cherry stains on precious linen tablecloths were considered the hardest stains to treat in the kitchen. But housewives would never use strong detergents for fear they would fade the color or damage the natural fabric. The simplest way was just a plain bowl of fresh milk, always available in every family's refrigerator. First, they would usually soak the stained part of the fabric in fresh milk and soak for 30 minutes to 2 hours until the red color disappeared. The components in the milk help lift the stain in the gentlest way possible, keeping the fabric fibers soft and color-fast over the years. This method cleans stains most gently. It helps you save money on buying new cloths and preserves items with family sentimental value. Candle wax for stuck drawers. In modern life, we often don't notice the small items around the house, and even a stuck drawer is easily seen as a nuisance. Our grandparents' generation was different. Wooden drawers on humid days often expanded and became jammed, making opening and closing a challenge. Many would try to pull hard, sometimes damaging the handle or scratching the wooden sliders inside, but they just needed to rub candle wax on the wooden sliders. The thin layer of wax quickly creates a natural lubricating cushion, reducing friction and helping the drawer slide smoothly. After opening and closing a few times, the drawer returns to being as smooth as new, no longer stuck or causing damage. This little tip not only makes using the drawer easy, but also protects the beauty and lifespan of the woodwork through generations. It proves that instead of using force to confront something hard, nurturing and caring is the way to maintain long-term value. Cutting onions without crying. Between 1940 and 1960, onion dishes became popular in American family meals because onions were cheap, easy to prepare, and added rich flavor to many dishes. But cutting onions was always a challenge for many mothers because the pungent vapors hitting the eyes often caused a burning sensation and tears. And the most common secret at that time was to dip the onion in cold water, wet the knife blade, and especially hold a small mouthful of water throughout the onion cutting process. These actions help neutralize and prevent the pungent vapor molecules from flying into the eyes before they can cause an irritating reaction. Thanks to this, housewives could cut onions accurately, quickly, and calmly, like a real professional chef in their kitchen. Compared to modern eye protection tools worth several dollars, this little tip is completely free but exceptionally effective. Salt to clean red wine. Red wine accidentally spilled on a light-colored carpet or tablecloth was often considered an irreparable disaster at parties in the old days. Back then, many people would panic and use a wet towel to rub hard, but accidentally cause the wine stain to soak deeper and spread wider into the tiny fibers. Smart women always stayed calm and used a jar of white salt, a cheap ingredient, only a few cents for a small jar, as an instant savior. Just sprinkle a thick layer of salt over the freshly spilled wine and wait a bit for the wine stain to disappear. After the salt has dried and absorbed all the liquid, you just need to brush it off, and the stain will miraculously vanish. In today's society, we are willing to spend money on chemicals or professional laundry services, but Grandma's folk wisdom reminds us that observation, calmness, and simple ingredients sometimes protect property and save costs much better, while maintaining peace of mind and long-lasting value for the family. If you have ever watched a video on the channel and are back here today, please comment "I'm back" below so we can all say hello to each other. Chalk to remove grease stains. A fresh grease stain splashing on a shirt is always an urgent situation. Usually people rush to use water or a wet towel to wipe it immediately, but that sometimes just makes the oil spread, making later washing more difficult. There is an incredibly simple but effective secret: pieces of children's chalkboard chalk. When a grease stain first appears, rub the chalk vigorously over the stain. The chalk powder quickly absorbs all the excess oil from the fibers. After a few minutes, you can brush it off and put the shirt in the washing machine. As a result, the stain disappears completely, as if it never existed. This little tip has saved countless precious tablecloths and beautiful family outfits at parties. It is a testament to folk intelligence, careful preparation, and the love that mothers always have for their families. Even in modern life, this seemingly simple method is surprisingly effective. Old socks as dusting cloths. Narrow gaps like fireplaces or window blinds are always the hardest places to clean in the house. However, using modern tools like plastic dusters sometimes just makes the dust fly around without being thorough. At that time, old, slightly torn, or mismatched socks become the perfect tool to collect dirt. Housewives used to put socks on their hands like a glove, allowing their fingers to flexibly reach into the smallest nooks and crannies. A sock can collect up to 95 to 98% of dust particles in narrow gaps, while reducing the cost of buying cleaning cloths, saving about $2 to $3 each month on cleaning, a significant amount in the 1950s to 60s. This method not only allows for direct contact with the surface to be cleaned, but also ensures that not a single dust particle is left behind. Thanks to those skillful and meticulous hands, the house was always cleaned down to every small detail. Dish soap and baking soda. After large family meals, pans with burnt-on grease are always a dreaded sight for whoever has to stay in the kitchen. Many think only hard scrubbing will work, but housewives in the old days knew better. The more you scrub, the faster the non-stick coating is ruined, and the cleaner just gets more tired. Instead, they would take 1 tablespoon of baking soda, mixed with about 1 tablespoon of dish soap. Stir well into a medium-thick paste, apply it to the burnt grease area, let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes, then wipe gently with a cloth or a soft sponge. Once the grease bonds are broken, just use a soft cloth to wipe gently, and the stain immediately disappears without much effort. Thanks to small tips like these, the kitchens of the past were always neat and clean without needing fancy products. Even today, that little tip still surprises many people because the results are so clear. No noise, no effort, just a little skill and the simple experiences Grandma left behind. Chili con carne is a warm, hearty stew that your mother often prepared to easily feed a large crowd. This dish is made from ground beef, simmered slowly with beans, tomatoes, and spicy seasoning, creating a protein-packed and filling meal. The key to creating the depth and richness of this chili was your mother carefully building layers of flavor, starting by properly browning the meat, then adding spices and letting everything simmer slowly. This is the type of meal that has the power to bring people together, whether it was a regular family dinner or neighborly gatherings where everyone contributed something to the shared table. Cold winter nights always required this warming stew, which could simmer on the stove while families carried on with their evening activities. The rich aroma of the cooking chili would spread throughout the house, building anticipation and drawing everyone to the kitchen to ask when dinner would be ready. This chili con carne was often served with rice, cornbread, or for the more adventurous, topped with a little cheese and chopped onions. Fried chicken and biscuits is the pinnacle of Southern comfort food, a dish reserved for Sunday dinners or special family occasions. This meal required the cook's skill and patience, but the results were always worthwhile. To get the perfect fried chicken pieces, homemakers would soak the chicken in buttermilk, coat them in a special seasoned flour, and fry them in a cast iron skillet until the outside was absolutely crispy, and the inside remained juicy and sweetly tender. The butter biscuits, an indispensable part of this meal, were often made entirely from scratch by Mother, rolled thin and cut by hand, then baked until golden brown and served hot with butter and sweet honey. This was the kind of meal that brought families together, creating unforgettable memories that lasted through generations. The sounds and smells of traditional fried chicken and biscuits created a symphony in the kitchen, signaling that something special and carefully prepared was happening. Biscuits and fried chicken were always the centerpiece of church picnics and family gatherings, where spirited debates often took place about whose fried chicken recipe was truly the best. This liver and onions dish might have been a challenge for a child's palate, but your mother knew its nutritional value very well. Liver contains more nutrients compared to most other meats. It is especially rich in iron, vitamin A, B12, and protein, essential nutrients for growing children and pregnant women. The recipe passed down through generations says that thin slices of liver must be soaked in fresh milk for about an hour before cooking to remove the strong metallic flavor that makes children wrinkle their noses and refuse it. Afterwards, those clever mothers would coat these softened slices of liver in seasoned flour and quickly fry them with slices of onion caramelized sweet in butter or smoked bacon fat. This dish was often served with smooth mashed potatoes and canned vegetables like green beans or carrots, then topped with a dash of Worcestershire sauce or rich meat gravy. The entire house would be filled with the smell of a truly home-cooked dinner, far different from the processed foods that came later. In the 1950s, this dish became a weekly staple when budgets were tight for growing children who needed extra iron to develop. Those clever housewives taught a whole generation that eating well sometimes requires challenging the palate but yields wonderful health benefits. If your grandfather was a veteran, this hearty cream-chipped beef dish surely became a tradition brought home by military families from the war era. This simple breakfast for dinner used dried beef and a rich, creamy white sauce to create a filling, chewy meal. The secret to making this dish delicious lay in your grandmother properly making a roux. First, melt the butter and flour, then slowly add the milk and stir steadily until the mixture becomes smooth, rich, and thick. Once the cream sauce reached the perfect consistency, Grandma would lightly stir in the salty, shredded beef. This creamed beef sauce was then ladled onto thick slices of buttered toast. The combination of the salty beef and the rich cream sauce created a perfect balance, satisfying both adults and children. Children might have called this dish by strange and somewhat funny names, but they always cleaned their plates when Mother served this favorite meal. Veterans in the family would smile contentedly every time this dish appeared on the table. They recalled how they survived difficult, scarce times overseas. There's a reason why this warm, comforting meatloaf with mashed potatoes was considered the quintessential family dinner of the 1950s. It provided a genuine and heartfelt feeling. Seasoned ground beef baked in the oven, often topped with a sweet, tangy ketchup glaze, spread throughout the house, signaling that a hearty meal was ready. Every mother had her own recipe. Some added diced onions, others used different types of ground meat. The truly creative ones even stuffed hard-boiled eggs inside the loaf for a delightful surprise. The real magic happened when the meatloaf was sliced thick and served with smooth, rich mashed potatoes and gravy made from the drippings collected in the roasting pan. This dish was simple, focused only on satisfaction and deliciousness. It was a reliable choice for mothers who wanted to nourish their families on a tight budget. Moreover, meatloaf was a great way to reuse leftovers like mashed potatoes or various vegetables. Children back then often stood around the kitchen watching their mother mix the ingredients by hand, learning simple but precious cooking techniques. And if you were lucky, the cold, thickly sliced meatloaf sandwich with mayonnaise the next day was even better than the original hot dinner. When you look at these golden fried salmon patties, do you recall the practical ingenuity of 1950s American home cooking? Back then, your mother could easily and economically turn a humble can of canned salmon into golden, crispy salmon croquettes, enough to stretch the meal for all 6 family members. To create the perfect croquettes, mothers would mix flaked salmon with breadcrumbs, beaten eggs, and finely chopped onion, forming small, pretty oval shapes. The most tedious but necessary task when making them was that mothers had to carefully remove every tiny bone from the canned salmon while chatting with you about your school day. The croquettes were then fried until golden and crisp in a cast iron skillet, creating a crunchy golden exterior and a moist, soft filling inside. They were often served with mashed potatoes and green beans. These fish patties were not restaurant fancy, but they were filling, nutritious, and enough to satisfy both hungry laborers and growing children. Many families had a tradition of serving these salmon croquettes on Friday night as their traditional fish dinner, creating a weekly ritual that all members looked forward to, despite the humble ingredients. Pot roast with vegetables is the classic dish for Sunday dinner, representing a type of meal that taught patience and meticulous budgeting. The aroma of the beef slowly tenderizing in the oven would spread throughout the house from morning until evening while your family prepared to go to church. The secret passed down to clever home cooks was to start this meal very early because slow and low cooking was the key to transforming tough, inexpensive cuts of beef into a dish so tender it melted in your mouth. After hours of slow simmering, the beef would become soft, and the vegetables like carrots, potatoes, and onions would fully absorb all the rich, savory flavors of the meat. The leftover meat drippings made the perfect gravy for the vegetables, and any remaining meat would become a delicious base for hash or sandwiches on Monday. This dish not only nourished the body, but also taught the entire family about patience and resourcefulness, showing how time and meticulousness could turn ordinary ingredients, even tough cuts of meat, into soft and flavorful dishes. Tuna noodle casserole was nicknamed the one-dish wonder that busy mothers in the 1950s could put together in minutes and pop into the oven while helping their children with homework. The smart mother's secret to making tuna casserole was sprinkling a crispy breadcrumb topping on top, adding appealing texture. Meanwhile, the rich cream sauce would hold all the inner ingredients together perfectly. Canned tuna was the ideal ingredient for this dish because it was inexpensive, easy to store, and provided a rich source of protein. To increase the appeal, mothers and grandmothers would add carrots, peas, or even crispy potato chips on top for extra crunch. The cheerful, bubbling sound of the casserole in the oven often became the familiar soundtrack of busy weeknights. This dish was a reliable, filling, and economical option. And it's no surprise that church potlucks always featured at least 3 different versions of this tuna casserole. The popularity of this dish also signaled the rise of convenient foods in the post-war era, as homemakers began using canned ingredients to save time without sacrificing the comfort of a family meal. Leftovers of tuna casserole often tasted even better the next day, making it a dish that lingered long after dinner ended. To stop squeaky floors, old houses with long-standing wooden floors often make annoying creaking sounds every time someone walks. Instead of having to tear up the entire floor to fix it, which is expensive and time-consuming, mid-20th century families always had a simple and effective solution: a box of baby powder. Baby powder acts as a dry lubricant, reducing friction between wooden planks as they expand and contract over time. Sprinkle the powder into the gaps between the planks, then use your foot to rub it gently so the powder penetrates deep into the joints. After just a few minutes, the annoying noise disappears completely, returning peace and quiet to the home. In 1960, baby powder cost only a few cents to a few dollars. Notably, this solution is both immediately effective, safe, and economical. It uses no chemicals and even brings a light, pleasant scent to the room. Graphite for stuck locks. Door locks sometimes become hard to turn or keys get stuck, causing frustration and inconvenience. Many people have a habit of pouring oil or grease into the lock, but in reality, grease will attract dust over time, making the lock jam even worse. Instead, use graphite powder from soft pencil leads. Simply rub the pencil tip over the grooves of the key, then insert the key into the lock and turn it a few times. The graphite powder will coat the inside, creating a perfect dry lubrication layer. Fun fact, an average pencil lead, about 5 grams of graphite, can lubricate more than 50 turns of a key before running out, and it leaves absolutely no dirt like oil or grease. The lock will work smoothly again without needing a locksmith or expensive lubricant sprays containing chemicals. This small tip is not only economical, but also proves the simple yet invaluable wisdom from the past, helping us solve everyday troubles smartly and effectively. These saving tips once helped our grandparents get through difficult years, but when applying them today, always prioritize safety and hygiene. Only choose methods suitable for a modern kitchen, avoid using spoiled ingredients, and do not overuse tips involving heat or chemicals. If you found the video useful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss great stories from the past. And if you are curious about smart cooking secrets that 1950s housewives once considered the gold standard, watch the next video, 25 Smart Cooking Tricks. Only 1950s housewives knew and we totally forgot. There are surely many things that sound strange, yet are extremely interesting.